I'm of the opinion that electrification will get here in stages. It was never going to be a light switch that was going to flip on or flip off. When you look at your own crystal ball 10 years down the road, what does the EV landscape look like to you
Yeah, I think you hit.
generally?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, which is, 5 years ago, I think we all thought this transition would happen sooner than it did. Today, we're letting the consumer drive that transition a lot more. At Mercedes-Benz, we call it, flexibility of choice or, the luxury of choice, and really thinking about how do we offer an amazing product, an amazing service in a similar design footprint where you can pick your powertrain, right? Whether it's an electric vehicle, whether it's a gas vehicle, whether it's a hybrid vehicle. I still believe the future is electric. If you think about the product architecture, these are higher performative vehicles, lower maintenance costs. There's a lot of benefits that accrue around electric vehicles. But I think, Jason, to your point, we've got to let the consumer drive that adoption and drive whatever that transition looks like, because it really depends on their own specific use case. How are they using that vehicle? What is their education on electric vehicles and new technology? So I think it's going to be mixed, and I think it will be mixed for a long time. And I think that's okay. We just got to help support those people who are interested in electric, interested in hybrid, along on that journey.
When I interviewed Elon Musk 10 years ago, he wanted the whole world to be on this pathway to
Yeah.
electrification. And lo and behold, 10 years later, we're having these conversations on a more regular basis. Is there still more room to go in the general conversation of electrification, or does it get, or are we reaching a more critical mass, I guess?
I mean, look, if you look at the past years, and let's go back to Tesla, because, early on, they were really the only show in town, right? The Model S was one of the first electric vehicles mass produced in market. And you could say there are other ones as well, but in terms of, mass appeal, mass marketing, that was one of the more attractive options at the time. You fast forward now, 10, 15 years, and you look at the fleet on the road today, and you'll have this opportunity next week. It sounds like, Jason, at, the Auto Week here in New York, to really see a number of different options coming out from Ford, GM, Mercedes, and the mix of the fleet in terms of EVs to gas to hybrid is significantly larger. So I actually think that we are in a pretty good place here in terms of offerings for the consumer. And again, now it's letting the consumer drive that transition and drive that, kind of evolution over time.
Are there things to learn from other parts of the world? Can you borrow some of what you're maybe seeing in the Nordic countries?
Yeah, I think there's two places. One, I'll go back to China. I mean, BYD's breakthrough on charging is just one of the announcements that has come out over the last, weeks, Jason. I think, if you looked at, their announcement on new car sales compared to Tesla, they've now surpassed Tesla in terms of EV sold globally. So I think, the lesson learned there for me, and I think for the automotive industry, is we can't let up on the investment, right? I think we're in a really unique position right now from a macroeconomic perspective, high interest rates, a lot of these global, trade conversations. But at the end of the day, we have to find a way to balance that with the requisite investments in the future. And China and their innovation and their future technology today is a proof point for that. I think your point on the Nordic countries, being able to create infrastructure at the scale that they have and really remove some of those barriers for EV adoption concerns, that's essentially the future of where we're going in America, right? There are two major concerns around EVs today. One is infrastructure and the other is affordability. So if we can solve those two challenges, then from an adoption perspective and a percentage of fleet, we can get to where the Nordic countries are within the US.